Authentic is always the best. Yeah. So, did you start the Wreaths Across America nonprofit here?
Here, we started this year in 2015 with 117 wreaths. Wreaths Across America itself started in 1992 with 5,000 wreaths going to Arlington. Our founder, Merle Booster, had extra wreaths, and when he was 12 years old, he'd run a trip to DC. And even though he didn't have any military background, one of the things, you've been to DC, right? You do the tour.
Seventh grade trip. We took a field trip there.
That's the thing. Fourth or seventh grade, people go at different times, and definitely had a big impact, because as you stand at the Tomb of the Unknown and you look and you see the Capitol and you see the Washington Monument, but in the foreground you see all these white marble headstones, and it kind of reinforces freedom's not free. So fast forward to 1992, their big customer Lands End didn't have the need for as many wreaths. So he thought, wouldn't those green balsa fir wreaths with red bows look great against those white headstones? And of course it snowed, so it looked even more incredible. So they continued that for years, family and friends. They got permission from Arlington and everyone to bring it down there, which is what they did. And then they started in 2007, a nonprofit, Wreaths Across America. And I can send you the timeline. I can follow up if that helps you as far as like what their throughout the years thing, from where they went from 5,000 wreaths to 3 million last year at 4,900 locations. So back to your question of like, how did I get started on this serial volunteer path? First of all, it's in my DNA. Mom and Dad instilled in us that attitude of gratitude, that, too much is given, much is expected. So I always have done that throughout my life. But and I was blessed to care for my parents the last 6 years of their life up at a military retirement community outside of DC. So that's where they rest. So Dad died first in May of 2011. But of course it was Arlington. You have to wait. Obviously active duty go first, and then there's a backlog. But that Christmas I went to a family funeral. I had somebody watch Mom, and was just blown away. I thought I'll swing by and see if Dad's turned over in his grave, but no, he wasn't. But there was a nice wreath there, and in section 60, it's right across from the Pentagon, which is where the active duties are. I was like, wow, this is incredible. So after Mom passed in January 2012, we found out who those kind of strangers were that didn't know Dad or our family. And I thought, wow, I want to be able to do that for others. And my husband had a military tie-in, and he was like a fourth son to Mom and Dad. So he was up, and when we found out his retirement would be up in, I guess it was 2014, we started looking, and we had family in Austin. Wayne had been stationed at Carswell, and we're Virginia Tech Hokies, so we looked at Baylor. Of course, we looked at A&M, and that resonated with us. They have the Corps Cadets, that selfless service. Tech's motto is Ut Prosim, which means that I may serve. So it's like, boom, this is where we're headed. So we found out more about Texas A&M and their selfless service, especially the 20,000 that were in World War II. We're like, well, where are they buried? Of course, the National Cemetery is Houston, and a couple hours away, and San Antonio, Fort Sam, 3 hours away. It's like, wow, why aren't there cemeteries here? So that first year, like I said, we started with Aggie Field of Honor because it was the new one. The older cemetery, Bryan, 1868, has now 14,000 graves, and about 10% of them, 1,400, are veterans. Then, like I said, College Station, they're like 77 years old. They have almost 1,000 veterans there. And then Aggie Field of Honor Memorial is the new one, so it doesn't have any trees. So our volunteer truckers that come in don't need to worry about hurting the trees. And then Oakwood off of 21. Obviously, the other one, they're about 350 there. So we have our annual ceremony. It's time synced to the national one at Arlington. Noon there is 11 o'clock here, 10 o'clock Mountain Time, and 9 o'clock Pacific. So there's a moment of silence, and then the wreath placements are done. So it's been phenomenal. Like I said, we went from 117 wreaths in 2015, and then last year, our 10th anniversary, 2024, we did almost 2,500. So
Wow.
community, we always say, it's not me, it's this grateful community, grateful citizens, businesses that do that one wreath at a time. Sponsorships are $17. And our biggest challenge, though, is finding them. I have a wonderful co-chair, Mary Shear, whose parents, well, her parents are buried at Bryan City Cemetery. Sadly, her husband's over at College Station, but she's a whiz. She's come up with a database of over 5,000 veterans. We work with both of the cities with their GIS systems because it's real estate, as you know, a transaction.
Right. Yeah.
We have that available, and there's something Mary refers to as Facebook for the Dead. It's Find a Grave, and that allows the information to be uploaded. Lots of volunteers worldwide to put the obits in. Families put the obits in. We have
Okay.
take pictures, and now there's a new GPS that actually you can send it and be within 3 feet of where the graves are. So
Wow.
cool.
I've got a listing south of Hearn on Lee's Chapel.
Yes.
It's some land, and kind of in the middle of this on one side is an old cemetery, and there are some Confederate soldiers in there. It's really cool. So I don't know
It
if
is,
that's on you.
and they're soldiers. I mean, there's a federal statute that, hey, they're soldiers. We're not getting into anything like that. So we have been phenomenal in trying to get all 7 counties. Madisonville, Judge Clark Osborne is also the president of their cemetery association up there. They already have their coverage for all the graves there this year. So they're going to be doing their own thing up there as a separate location, just
Nice.
like in Navasota. At Oakland, same thing. We start their own Washington County. So we're slowly going around. But because, as you said, in your experience, these cemeteries are spread out. The city
Yeah.
cemeteries are different, 4 in the Bryan College Station, but then there are individual family ranches, farms, churches. So we try and figure out the best way to adjust it. Obviously, we don't have unlimited resources, either time or money. But again, Mary came up with this wonderful way to handle it, especially during COVID, what we call a tribute wreath, where we have the listing of all the names, and we'll put a wreath and we'll have the list of the names and laminate them. And it's kind of like, if you ever saw that movie Coco, it's about El Dia de Muertes, Day of the Dead.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
So a person dies twice. That's how we explain it to kids. And a third of our Wreaths Across America volunteers are children. So a person dies twice, right? That physical death, and then when you stop saying their name. So
Yes.
that's why we put the flags out for Memorial Day and Veterans Day. We had an Eagle Scout that helped us with Brian. I mean, they were like, wow. City Council was like, thank you. Thank you so much, Connor Simpson. And he got other kids to help him so that we've got that database, and it's just a matter of maintaining it. But again, we have volunteers that do that.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's all great information, and I can imagine, man, what a task that is. Some people will be buried with pomp and circumstance, and some will not be. Some might mention, some might not, and where do you find all that information? Yeah.
Well, exactly. We are so blessed in this community. As far as, like you said, how do you recognize it? People that show up. We had someone at the end of February, David Fuller, no relation. I wish he was, brother from another mother. Well, actually, I married into it, so this would be other mother-in-law that helps coordinate the cleanings. We work with Watson Memorials are the ones that helped us with the Brazos Valley, no, Veterans of Brazos Valley Monument that's at the new annex over in Bryan City Cemetery with a cleaner called D2. It's an organic that doesn't destroy the stone.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
157-year-old, we don't want marble to be, how do I say, eaten away. And if
Yeah.
you bleach on it, that's a bad thing. So we have the tools. Again, it's great. People can help lots of different ways year round. It's not just a December thing. We're more than wreaths and flags. As you know, we've done different things as far as the veterans van. We're getting ready for a special recognition. I think I mentioned to you, and that's, I guess, what the push is here is Medal of Honor Day
Yeah. Yeah.
next Tuesday. Last year, we had Roy May, who is a Tomb of the Unknown Sentinel, Army veteran, and Yell leader.
Yeah.
For us, if people visit the MSC, you'll see the Hall of Honor. There are the 8 different Aggies that have received the Medal of Honor. Last March, Clarence Sasher, we'd intended to honor him, but he'd gotten ill. And we ended up doing a banner. Over 100 people signed it. We sent it to him. Sadly, he passed in May. But I think they're examples, timeless. So people get a chance to just stop and remember them. There is going to be a new National Medal of Honor museum that will be dedicated in Irving on Medal of Honor Day Tuesday. However, Saturday they've got a big gala, fireworks and stuff open to the public, and then Monday special pre-opening thing. But it really is incredible. It's here in Texas, so
Yeah, that's pretty special, isn't it? There's a lot of special stuff here in Texas for veterans.
yes,
That's a nice honor to have that here. I was reading the information that you sent me, and only 3,547 people have ever gotten the Medal of Honor. Isn't that something? And 19 of them got 2, right? So that's
it's interesting. Lots of statistics. One woman got it, Maggie Walker.
Yeah.
The oldest and youngest, different situations. You read them and you're just like, holy moly. The thing about them, they're all super modest. They're like Clarence will always say, I did not go above and beyond. And people that were wounded, they're like, I got to get back to my buddies. I think I mentioned one of the things we did recently was the 80th anniversary of Iwo Jima, February 19th through actually coming up next week too, the 26th. So on the 23rd, people know the iconic picture of raising the flag there, right? So as you said, Sherri, we're so blessed here in Aggieland to have so much. So one of them, of course, one of the most famous veterans is President George H.W. Bush. So it would have been his 100th birthday. And to celebrate that, they have a new pavilion over there, which houses 4141, the locomotive that was repainted the same colors as Air Force One in 2005, put 32,000 miles on it. And sadly, when he passed in 2015, they negotiated. Union Pacific was very generous in donating it. And it's there in this pavilion, along with Marine One. So what we did was we got permission to invite Marines to come and do a special group picture. Byron Stebbins, who was the former interim Corps Cadet Commander and is also a Bush fellow volunteer, had some Iwo Jima sand. So what we did was we got the oldest Marine, 85-year-old gentleman, and the youngest Marine, 21, who was just being dropped off from his parents from California.
A baby, yeah.
Volcanic black sand. So it's ongoing. We find a way every day to say thank you, appreciation for our veterans and their families. Because I know my dad used his combat bay, like I said, for my mom, and then her home front. How do I say, interactions with the 5 known hostiles, myself and my siblings. So anyway, that's why we're all about, like, not just people go, why do you do dead vets? Like, because they have families and they, have that first December without a loved one, and grief has a timeline. So
the veteran is not the only one who gives service and sacrifice. The whole family does, and either while they're gone or when they come back, trying to reassimilate them and help them cope. So,
and that's your big thing, and that's as far as what you asked about transition. And I think that's the how do I say path that for a lot of people, that transition. Obviously, they're very grateful to be back. There is that survivor guilt thing for a lot of folks that come back, and what they do is to, especially like with our Gold Star families, that legacy to loss is to talk about that service and sacrifice, and volunteering definitely the right way to do it. You just realize there are other people that have it worse than you, and that everybody can do something. So
it doesn't take that much effort to put out a lot of effort, really. I mean,
exactly. Good quote. I like it. Exactly.
And many hands make the work light. Though we have a great database here of people who are interested in this community, and I'm learning about how connected everybody is and seeing if is there a way that we can make them even more connected and know each other on a personal level a little bit, so we're a community here that can really support our veterans and their
And thank you
families.
for being such a resource. Like you said, if we don't have it, we'll try and refer you to somebody who does. And that way we find out, like you said, connecting those dots is so important.
Yeah, exactly. So, and not just for me, but for the veterans, for them to know everything that's out there. I think there's so much that it can be overwhelming, but to have, I don't know, some kind of path, some kind of place
Right.
to go. And that's the kind of the network aspect of that. And just kind of having these resource fairs and getting people in the community to know what's here, since we've got this largest community of veterans without a base in the whole country.
Yep.
So
Exactly. And yeah. And to me, I always think three things: teamwork makes the dream work, relationships determines results, as you said. And then the third thing is like work with the willing. Some people, as you said, sadly, whatever their situation, they may or may not be comfortable going to organize events. But hopefully they've got a buddy they can talk to. And if those buddies can be informed, that word of mouth to say, well, I don't know, but go ahead and, give Sherri a call, give Pam a call, give Ellen a call, give Diana a call, whoever, and try and support each other. It's important.
Exactly. So you are just a wealth of information on all the things that are going on in town. I think you've got the thing on the 25th at the museum, and this weekend the gala with it. And
well, let's see. We already did. We don't have anything at the museum. Our next event will be the Brazos Valley Cares. Like I said, we're trying to help with their Stake Your Support. We are actually doing some cleaning at the cemetery this Sunday with some wonderful Aggies. And then our big event, our fundraiser, is April the 13th from 2 to 3. It'll be our 4th annual one at Top Golf. Name change, still the same great folks helping us. In fact, they ended up upgrading us from heavy hors d'oeuvres to a fiesta fajitas, chicken and
nice.
like 2 hours. And if people can't come, they're so wonderful. They're like, well, can I sponsor a veteran or a student veteran? I'm like, yes, it's only $100. We would appreciate that. So
yeah, we'll put is there a link for that or just an email?
I think sadly my co-chair Amanda Cross, I think I mentioned her husband passed last month.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
So yeah, incredible. We talked about it, but I am a digital dinosaur. But she's trying to help me transition, so it'll be on our face page. I think I put it as an event, but I'll check, and if you will be my beta tester to see if you can get
okay, yeah, sure. And at the end of this video, we do a description, where we'll put links to things. We'll pick your email and your contact information. So if people are interested in sponsoring, we can show a picture of that flyer that you sent me, and we'll do everything we can to help you advertise it as well. So
sure. And the other thing too is if a vet or something. Last year we had some of the older vets come and like, thanks, you don't have to play or anything, just come and try it, we'll feed you, and if you want to try it, it'll be fun. It's not actually lugging around a bag or anything. It's kind of like a interactive gameplay. You can, if you're a serious guy, play St. Andrews or gal. I play golf myself, or you can they've got like a Captain America thing, different fun things that you can as well as
it's a fun place to just go and hang out with the people too, just get a group of people together and visit. I will be also at Stake Your Support volunteering. That's my ticket in, is volunteering and helping.
Oh, it's important.
Do whatever. Yeah, so I'll be there Friday afternoon and then during the event too. So we'll see you there. And let's see, what else is there? Anything else that's coming up that's important?
Well, they're very generous too, as far as like I think this is their 11th year, and they're nice with us at the end. They have beautiful flowers. They donate them, and we take them and donate them to nursing homes. So it's that
sweet, yeah.
Pay it forward, and that ripple effect of kindness that is so much the Brazos Valley. So
yeah, I love how the agencies kind of work together too. The different nonprofits are all in cooperation, which is amazing, instead of competing, and makes everybody go farther faster.
Competition. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. What do they say? If you want to go, I'm going to probably confuse it. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, or something like that.
Oh, that's cool.
I may have got it reversed. I don't know.
Like so, we're around all these people. We are very blessed. We've adopted a lot of Aggies, and especially some of the Marines crack me up. because they're like, if you want to be on, no, if you're on time, you're late. If you're early, you're on time. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But again, it's so inspiring to see these, I don't want to say kids, but these students, elementary through high school, they give me hope for the future. I was at an event last night, and it's just said, it is just like, wow, we're lucky we get to live here and see the affirming things that are happening. It's nice.
Yeah, it's totally true. And, I don't know if there's anybody in town who doesn't know who you are, but I'm pleased to introduce you, my friend Ellen Fuller. And we didn't do this at the very beginning, which I normally do as a little introductory thing. But yeah, I'm so excited to have you on here and learn about what you do with Wreaths Across America and share that with people. I've heard about it, but it's always good to learn more about, what inspired you and the meaning behind it and how it affects people, when you give them the wreaths and take care of the stones and all those things that you guys do. I think it's pretty nice. I know there are a lot of, I've seen a lot of different cemeteries over time that are just not taken care of and not loved. And like my papa took care of the local cemetery in Princeton, West Virginia.
Wow.
He would go mow and edge and take care of it. So I think that's super sweet to take care of this final resting place.
Right. And that's the other thing I should, if you have time, I'll tell you about what we call local national cemetery. That's the one on North Washington across from the original Bryan City Cemetery.
Yes.
This past December, we partnered with the American Legion Honor Guard to do what we talked about before, saying the name. They would go in pairs. We invited the families to come before our 11 o'clock ceremony at Aggie Field of Honor. I think we had like 30 people there, and in the rain. But as my husband always says, nobody's shooting at us. It was very respectful and kind to say those names. And this was also the first year that we had a veteran inurned, which means that the cremains are actually put in the columbarium. So that's meaningful. Again, if people haven't done their planning ahead of time, they estimate 60% of most final arrangements are now cremations as opposed to in ground. But it just varies by area and preference.
Yeah.
A nice option to have. So we work with the VA to directly have those headstones. We used the granite instead of the marble. It's too soft that it would not do well in this environment. And then for the bronze niche covers, those are shipped directly from the VA to Brian. Robert Jackson is a cemetery sexton there. He's a Navy veteran. So it's like, boom, you look out for your buddies and their families. So that's a nice option.
Talk about a little bit about the difference in the types of cemeteries. You've said federal. Are there
Right.
state? Are there just veteran? Or what are the differences in those?
Right. Thank you. Yeah. Most people know Arlington National Cemetery. There are almost 400,000 resting there, a mixture between the in-ground and the columbarium. That's the trend now. Here in Texas, there were like 300 national cemeteries, and 4 of them here in Texas: San Antonio, Houston, El Paso, and DFW. And then, because Texas loves its veterans too, there are also state veteran cemetery: Killeen, Mission, Callum, I guess, Corpus Christi. I know I'm blanking on the 4th one, maybe Wichita Falls, but I'm not sure. But if a veteran has been honorably discharged as witnessed through a DD 214, and again, our good friend Pam Robertson, who's the Brazos County Veteran Service Officer and an Army veteran, is very good about helping families, working with funeral homes to get that information done. Our biggest thing now, and I'll digress for a second, the third type is municipal, city, or church or private cemeteries. We had a case where actually somebody at HEB said, can I arrange to get a flag for my sister? She'd been in 33 years, but a lot of times people are grieving. They don't realize what they're entitled to. So they just went ahead and buried her. Well, she said, I know that, you go on and you say, please tell us about your veterans. We can't remember them if we don't know about them. And even if we don't have enough for the wreaths, we try and, like I said, remember the flags, at least Veterans Day and Memorial Day. Well, it turned
Yeah.
out there's an option where you can get a folded flag, and it says U.S. veteran and then the branch of service. So that's what we did for the Flores family. The father was still alive. He was an Army veteran himself. And that can be affixed to the headstone. The family has to request it. And that's a nice option. Again, trying to mark it permanently, because besides the headstones that people see, either marble or granite, you also can get a footstone, and that's marble, granite, or bronze.
Okay.
If you have that DD 214, and those are, like I said, more unique to private cemeteries. If you're in a national or state veterans, you're going to get a headstone, probably marble. But the trend's different. I mean, I was up in Michigan and I saw one of those folded flags on a bench because the family had opted for cremains and did the scattering, which is a big dust in the wind has new meaning. So
Yeah.
I know, so sick. But anyway, so those are the options that people have, depending on what the family wants, depending on the type of death, if it's active duty or not, as far as whether they'll do the traditional thing that people see at national cemeteries for sure, where they do the flag folding, and that's presented to the family. The rifle valley, which is the 3 rounds of 21 gun salute. Different things. Again, kudos to the honor guard here. They try and do that. Sometimes the different bases, depending on the branch of service, Sherri will send a couple of representatives as well. So that's what I can tell you as far as the different types of cemeteries and situations for final arrangements for our veterans. Wives also, depending again where they're passed. The other thing that Brian did, mirroring that national cemetery to make it local, is that it's double stacked, same as like in Arlington. Dad died first, then mom went on top. Same thing here. But they can't really etch the back of them. So they have a different footstone in Bryan. But let's see. Same thing over at Aggie Field of Honor, College Station, as far as how families opt, because there's plenty of land here. I was amazed, that you see a husband and wife, they have like a double headstone. And then the
Yeah.
husband or the veteran, we have a lot of women veterans too, will get that option for a footstone. So anyway.
Yeah.
So kind of cool.
Well, how can people out there help Wreaths Across America do anything? What kind of need do you guys have? How can we bless you?
Well, thank you. Yeah, we, I guess the main thing, like I said, we're in transition, trying to figure this out, and partnerships, referrals and stuff. So thank you for this podcast, is to get the word out. I guess our email would be the best way, as far as WAA Brazos Valley at gmail.com. We do have a Facebook, which is Brazos Valley Wreaths Across America, but I'm not good at this stuff. But I can get the information on that. Again, thank you, Amanda, for setting that up. I'm not the best at social stuff. I think we have an Insta account, but I would just try the email. Again,
Okay.
Brazos Valley at gmail.com.
Okay.
So yeah, we need social media help.
Need bodies helping do work and need
Anything
money
that's-
helping buy
Our
supplies and
next thing
things.
will be, is having the flags for Memorial Day came up. The group I met with last night, we partnered with the American Legion Auxiliary to do the poppies, to have that. There's another New American Legion, Roy May I mentioned, in College Station. We're going to be doing a Memorial Day program. There's a mini Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Veterans Park, working with the city there. We'll be doing a wreath presentation like the one that's done in Arlington.
Nice.
I think it'd be like 11 to 1. So that'll be the 25th of May. So sorry for the confusion. May, March, they both start with MA.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you could probably do something almost every day, always in the veteran community here.
Absolutely. Yep. Lots of needs and lots of, like I said, helping hands. So it's a matter of getting that configuration. We want people to have a good experience, so that they come back, or their siblings come, or their neighbors come. But I will tell you one endearing story is the Kimmy family. Over 2 years, the father, like you said, talking about in West Virginia, going and looking out, cleaning the headstone there. He did that during his lifetime. But with his past, his daughter and mother, his widow, have visited every day for almost 2 years. And that's one of the things they do is the cleaning. But to have that convenience of not having to worry about traffic in Houston or San Antonio, to be able to stop by a meaningful thing that, birthday, anniversary, holiday is so nice.
Yeah, I know. Well, we are far away from the rest of our family. So my grandpap was in the Army in World War II, and he's buried up in Indianapolis, Indiana. So that's really far away. So whenever I'm up in that direction, I always swing by. And
Well, call me, let me know. One of the things we do is like I said, there are 4,900 locations. We get on and I'll call and say, here's, can I sponsor? Can you do me a favor and do this? It's what we call
that would be great.
specific request. And most times just like the 1 year instead of like each year is kind of hard, but we've done lots of different states and it's like, yeah, and if we we've reciprocated. If somebody goes, oh yeah, we'd be happy to take a picture of. In fact, I got one last night. It was the Henderson family. The headstone had just been placed, but they didn't have a picture of it. So I sent it to Mary and Dave. It was like, do you know what you're talking about? But yeah, so technology.
I didn't think about that, but that is an opportunity, right? If you have relatives all over the place, you can sponsor probably through you, and get wreaths
And
put
we'll
on
find
there.
out who I'll give you whoever my wreath brother or sister is, and that they'll do it. If they can.
Great.
Depends on the cemetery. I mean, we have a cemetery now that doesn't want to be involved, which is fine. We just give it to the family and then they can place it. So whatever's comfortable, there's no wrong answer when it comes to grief. So
Yeah.
so give me the information on your grandfather. It'd be our honor to do that for you. So
Yeah. His brother, he has a brother, I think, who's buried in Elgin, Texas. He came here, Uncle Harry. Oh gosh, there's lots of them. Like I said, we can, I'll find out where everybody's buried.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's the main wreathsacrossamerica.org, but if you don't put like TX0275P, it'll go into the main unallocated pot. But if you put it to the one here, it'll come to the Brazos Valley. But again, as long as it's on a veteran's grave, that's all we care about. So
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming and explaining all this to us today. We appreciate you so much, and we'll have to have you come back on. I know you've always got your fingers in something that you can share with the community.
I must be doing something right. I've got great friends like you. So that's, I tell people, if you like me, you'll love my friends. So
yeah. Being in this community of, people volunteering is a community. There is camaraderie here. We all have this kind of kindred spirit. So it's good to feel like you belong somewhere. And I'm appreciating that and just kind of reveling in it right now. I appreciate how warm and welcoming everybody's been to me.
Oh, absolutely. You don't have to be wearing a uniform to serve, right?
Right.
So,
yeah, true.
Well, thank you. You're definitely a welcome addition. So thank you for coming. So
thanks so much.
All right.